so excited.
I was going to ask you something about Bath. Have you been before?
Yeah, pretty much every time I've gone to London.
Nice. Yeah,
I did it
don't blame you.
the first trip just by myself. Stayed in an absolutely haunted, weird little B&B place. It was awful. I think I had my scientific brain knows that I had my first episode of like sleep paralysis. Like that must be what happened.
Happy memories. No wonder you like it so much.
Yeah.
And you just keep going back.
Yeah, keep going back.
I haven't stayed there again.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that place. That sounded horrific.
It was awful.
Yeah. I've never been to Bath.
What?
Yeah,
I
I
love
feel like
Bath.
you and I had a trip planned there, Jenny. Did we not? Or did we?
I don't think
Where are
so,
we
but
gonna
we
go?
should.
Cambridge? Same place. Anyway. Yeah. We'll plan a trip
We're planning our holidays.
We'll plan a trip together soon, and I tell you who we won't be inviting. Belle.
I know, she's not invited. Oh dear. Right. Should we get this show on the road?
Yeah, let's. That was a good note to start off with, I think. A bit of discordance.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 1 of season 2, I think. Yeah, hello, I'm Jenny. Sarah, you've written introduce ourselves in these notes. Do you want everybody to introduce themselves? Should we start over?
Yeah, well, we've got very exciting news. Well, we've got a well, I thought maybe people would be coming to this podcast for the first time, perhaps, since we haven't recorded for a while.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought we should all introduce ourselves,
Let's do
but
it.
we can also introduce our new host.
We can.
Which is very
Okay.
exciting. Anyway, you go, Jen. Sorry.
I'll go first.
I'm
Okay.
talking.
So, I'm Jenny. I'm based in Norwich in the UK, and I've been doing this podcast for a long time. 7 years? 8 years now? Yeah, so we've been here a while. Things have changed a lot since it first started. It used to be very ad hoc, very unprofessional, because we're peak professionals now. And lots of host changes. I'm the OG and the only UK representative left here now. Yeah, I'll hand over to Sarah.
Hello, I'm Sarah. I've been in this podcast since 2020. I think, started just at the start of lockdown. And I am currently in Lutruwita, which is also known as Tasmania, in Australia. And yeah, I'm pumped. That's me.
Just pumped.
I'm excited
to be back.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
We're all a bit overly buoyant, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, I've had 2 dinners in one night.
That's what it is.
So I'm absolutely rolling.
That's that extra roast dinner she's just had.
Do you want me to introduce myself now?
Right.
Jump in.
I am Belle, and I'm very happy to be joining the pod as a co-host this season. I'm joining you from Naarm, also known as Melbourne, in Australia as well. So we've now outnumbered Jenny.
Finally,
I can see
the
what's
remaining
happening.
British co-host.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been outnumbered for a little while. But I think I started listening to the podcast in 2020, and Sarah was the
Only
odd
Aussie.
one out.
Yeah, because we would have been three Brits and
Oh, you guys used to give me a headache sometimes, let me tell you.
didn't understand a word we were saying.
No, it's the freaking British passiveness. I was like, what is that?
Oh my god, yeah, I remember all of that at the start. Yeah. The cultural differences.
Yeah, big cultural differences, especially for
Which
me.
blew my mind at the start. You wouldn't have thought they'd be that big.
Yeah. For context for people who might not have listened to the pod, I'm Australian, so I'm in Australia right now, but I've been living in the Netherlands for like 7 years. So being a Australian living in the Netherlands and then talking to British people is like a weird form
overly
of hell.
polite.
I was like, what is happening? But I adjusted, I adapted, all's fine. We got rid of those other people.
That's what happened.
Which is not because of me, by the way. That's just life. Life is life.
The only person left that could cope with Sarah is me.
Yeah, exactly. After a lot of HR negotiations and some counselling, we're at.
We're kidding. Everyone was lovely and left on their own accord.
Yeah, it's true.
an update on Chris, because Chris is obviously not here this season, and he was last season. Had a very nice email from Chris. He's all good. He's reading lots of books. So I reckon we could get him on for an episode at some point.
Yeah, he's doing much better. So Chris
Enjoying
stepped away from the
life.
pod. Yeah, so Chris just took a step back from sort of life itself, basically, to work on some personal stuff. And yeah, doing much, much better. Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah, so we invited Belle to join us for this season. Maybe forever, who knows? I'm really excited about it. How do you feel about it, Jenny?
I'm excited. Me and Belle just met for the first time. We just recorded the Patreon episode.
And
had a weird moment where Belle found it strange recognizing a voice out of a stranger's mouth, as she put it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was like what does it say when you go like, joining the room? You're like about to jump in, and I was like, I've got no idea what she looks like. I feel like I've probably seen photos of you guys together.
Yeah, there's photos of us.
Know what face is going to pop up, but yeah, very funny. Watching a voice that you know you feel like you know quite well, because I've listened to you guys for a long time. Come out of a stranger's
and she is quite strange. So that's double.
That's true.
I guess we can describe. Jenny's much taller than me, which is maybe a bit of a. People are often surprised by how short I am. I have tall energy.
Tall person energy.
But I'm quite short. I'm like, wow.
How tall are you, Belle? I feel like we need to establish this now.
Am I taller than you, Sarah?
Well,
about the same, maybe.
I identify as 167 centimeters, which is not my height. So I'm 163 or 164. But I've had this narrative that I'm 167 for like 10 years at least.
I do the same, but I think I'm actually 162. Yeah.
Are you shorter than me?
I don't know where that comes from. I don't know why I say 167. Maybe I used to be 157, and that's just in my mind. Yeah.
I just say 167. I say it with confidence. I say it's like any doctor, like in any setting, I'm like 167. Thank you. Right.
Knowing full well that that's 5 centimeters taller.
But that's a lie.
Brilliant. I love it.
This is how bad it is. Like I work in neuroscience where you get scanned, so I work with MRIs, and you have to put your height in because they have to know exactly how tall you are. And I've even done it in that setting. I'm like 167. I don't know why I'm kind of clean on the pod. I feel safe, I suppose.
Safe.
But you're a tall Jen. How tall are you?
5'8".
What's 5'8"? I need to look this up.
71, 72 maybe?
Yeah, it must be 172.
Much taller than us.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, no, I don't think you're 167, mate.
No.
Definitely.
There's a really great photo of us. Maybe we can.
We're on a hill.
Yeah, there's this really great photo of us on a hill where I'm trying to look taller than Jenny in front of a bookshop.
We're on like the biggest slope ever.
Yeah.
Looking the same height.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it looks like
we should probably get Belle to introduce herself properly. Although I have just quizzed her on our Patreon episode. So if anybody's a patron, that'll be there to listen to. Lots of random questions. But I feel like Belle should be fairly prepped to introduce herself.
So I'm Belle. As I said, I'm living in Melbourne at the moment. And I spent a good couple of years, I think like 6 or 7 years, living down in Hobart in Tasmania, which is loosely how Sarah and I know each other, and studied medicine down there. And so I'm now working in Melbourne and training as a paediatric doctor and working at a couple of children's hospitals around Melbourne. What else? I grew up in Melbourne and have been a big book nerd for most of my life. I think it was easier reading and studying. It's hard fitting reading in with working life. I work very long hours. And so I think the books that I've read mostly over the last 10 or so years, finding the last couple of years, it's a bit harder to read them. My mental energy is not so much there anymore. So I've started breaking into some new genres for sort of some lighter reading. And by lighter reading, I mean murder, crime fiction.
Yeah, a bit of genre.
That's my version. Yeah, my version of sort of light reading. But otherwise, I read a lot of memoirs and a lot of lit fic and autofiction.
I think, taste-wise, I think you must be about halfway between me and Jen. I would say. I think you're really, we're really on a similar kind of plane, I would say.
I just quizzed Belle about her favourite and least favourite genres, and I feel like we cross over each other really nicely. And then we're at different ends of the spectrum as to, I guess the lighter stuff we read. Belle hates romance. And another genre that you won't be happy about, Sarah.
What?
Fantasy. So fantasy romance would be her worst nightmare.
Know this.
My nightmare, fantasy romance.
Fantasy romance. Nightmare.
What's the... I did read Fourth Wing, though. So there you go.
We'll talk about Fourth Wing in a little while. I won't reveal too much, but we'll save that for the next section.
You guys, I'm on a massive fantasy. We should probably let's do the actual episode.
We're going in.
Yeah. What's the first point?
Yeah, well, I mean, you've put yourself on.
Yeah, sure did.
You've already allocated that to yourself, Sarah. So go for it.
I did the episode outline, everyone, and it's actually a little trick if you ever, for some reason, find yourself hosting a podcast.
It means really you don't have to intro. I guess that's what everyone
what
hates
you can
doing.
do, which I often do. A trick I pass on to the listener is I volunteer to do the episode outline. I'm like, I'll do it, everyone. No, don't you worry. And then when you do the episode outline, you can allocate all the bits and pieces. Yeah. So I allocate myself away from the
don't do the outro.
I don't do the intro.
Don't do the ad break.
I don't mind the outro. But I say, like, I'll do all the bits that involve long talking, and Jenny can do all the bits that are hard. And that's fine.
Bits we stumble over, even though it's written right in front of her.
Yeah, the ad break is really difficult. I miss Chris. Chris loved doing it. There's something wrong with him.
One take wonder, Chris was.
Yeah, I know, he was ridiculous. Anyway, so we've got a new season coming up, which we're very excited about. We have slightly delayed the release of the second season because we switched hosts and all this kind of stuff, and blah, blah, blah. Life is life. Oh, Jenny got super sick. You had COVID for about 400
forgot about
weeks.
that.
Yeah, so that delayed us massively. Yeah, Jenny was really under the weather for a long time, so send her lots of love. But yeah, we've got a bunch of episodes coming up, so I'm going to sort of vaguely outline the season for you. So I think first episode coming up after this will be me and Belle discussing Bee Sting by Paul Murray. I always want to say Paul Lynch, but it's not Paul Lynch. Paul Murray, which I'm reading at the moment, and Belle has already read, which I'm really looking forward to discussing, actually, so that will be fun. We've got some more stuff involving Patreons this season, which should be really good. So we've got a couple of episodes, I think, upcoming, right? When we're going to have some Patreons featured into the main pod. Are you nodding, Jenny? Is that true? Yeah. Can't see her, whatever.
Yes.
Sorry, you froze. We're going to be talking about some memoirs in a later episode. I think that's going to be Belle and Jenny, I want to say. I think I voted myself away from that. We're going to do a book to film episode. We're going to talk about Small Things Like These, I believe, is the plan, which I think we've both read before. So we're going to watch the film adaptation, maybe reread the book. Let's see how excited we get.
It's a little one. Date. I reckon I can reread.
Little guy, yeah.
Sarah's more excited about Cillian Murphy, I think.
Yeah, that's how she got me in, because I didn't really like the book that much. But then Cillian Murphy's in the film, so I was like, okay.
All over it.
The sacrifices one must make. And then we're going to do an episode featuring an author, which we did last season. Chris and I talked about Hannah Kent, which was an episode that went down really, really well. So we thought we'd do that again. I'm going to commit and say we're doing it about Sophie McIntosh. I wouldn't normally commit because we tend to change our minds quite a lot on the episodes, but that's what we're going to do. She has written 3 books, so I think Belle and I want to say, maybe, are going to be doing those. I'm really excited about those, actually, because her second one I don't know anything about, and I looked it up yesterday, and it looks really, really good. So I'm really motivated. One? It's called, I think it's got the word blood in it. What's it called?
Blue Ticket?
Blue Ticket, something like that.
Oh,
it hasn't got the word blood in it. We were talking, Belle and I were texting about it yesterday, but it didn't make much of a splash, so I wasn't even vaguely familiar to me, but it came out between The Water Cure and Cursed Bread, which both got...
missed that.
Yeah, well, it didn't get nominated for anything, basically, I don't think, but I'm really excited to read it. Then, of course, we're talking about like our favourite books of the year at the end of the year. We might do a Booker episode, I think, depending on... That's kind of maybe the vague plan. We'll see what happens to the Booker later in the year. The shortlist is coming out in a few weeks, so we'll see what the story is there. Yeah, and some other bits and pieces. We're going to be looking at some like TikTok books, I think. Lots of
The
bits and pieces,
TikTok
so-
book is
Yeah.
Fourth Wing. That's why I brought it up in
Oh.
in the first section. I'm halfway through. I'll say no more than that.
Please, yeah, I don't want to hear about it. I'm not doing this episode. I'm not interested. And yeah,
think
that's
you will
kind
be.
of our sort of. Oh God, that's kind of our. I'm just going to proceed on. Be quiet, Jenny, please. Silence in the back, please.
Pipe down.
There are episode plans for sort of the season, roughly. We have like specific dates and all that kind of thing lined up, but that's kind of the amount of information that I wanted to give you for now. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited actually about this season. Really pumped.
Me too. I think, we don't overly plan. I mean, like, we're not set hours planning, but I do feel like, we've got some good episodes coming up that we're all excited about.
Yeah, we always have very good intentions about planning. We do plan, and then we change it constantly.
Just to add to the pressure in our lives.
Yeah.
Usually because we give ourselves too much prescribed reading, and then we have to change the plan. I don't think that'll happen this time, which is good.
Yeah, we're trying to really minimize that, which I think we've done big time.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
I'm really happy about. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really happy to be doing the pod. I haven't recorded for ages, so I'm really happy. I'm just going to keep talking.
She's
Shut up,
buzzing.
Sarah. I know. I'm really excited. I've had 2 roast dinners.
It's funny because the next section is anything we're excited about.
Yeah. Well, I just found out yesterday. This is why I put this in. I was listening to Books on the Go, which is a Australian podcast that I really, really like, and they covered a book called Woo Woo by Ella Baxter. So I had no idea she had come out with a new book. So her second book just came out, which I didn't know. I think it might be out very, very shortly if it's not out now. It'll definitely be out by the time this episode's released. You saw it in a window?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me, for God's sake? I didn't know anything about this. So Ella Baxter, she's written one of my favorite books. I don't know. I loved it. Her debut, New Animal, I absolutely loved. It was so baggy and weird. You've got to read it, Jen. You would love it.
I own it. Like, I bought it. I know I'll really like it. So it's
yeah, you'll love it. It's also a really short, light read. Like it's great. I can't praise it highly enough. Really, I absolutely love it. I made my book club read it, and they hated it.
Was this a BDSM one?
Yeah, it's this weird story. It's a Australian, and it's about a girl whose mother dies. And her family runs a funeral home, and then she basically runs away to Tasmania because she can't deal with this. Runs away to Tasmania and ends up getting really involved in the BDSM community, and it's just like it's this great like narrative about like grief, but then there's all this weird BDSM stuff happening. Weird because she's not actually really in that community; she's just trying to sort of escape. So it's just sort of like weirdly lighthearted, but also deep. And like she just sort of commits like bizarrely full on to the point where she freaks everyone else out because she also misses a lot of things that are sort of quite important in that community about like consent and communication and that kind of thing, because that's not what she's there for. She's there to just try and forget. So she kind of makes everyone a bit unnerved. And it's just amazing. Like, it's really funny. It's really what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a bit offensive, irreverent. It's just like, yeah, it's amazing.
I like that publishers are publishing stuff like that now.
Yeah. It puts me in mind of like, what's that? Was it called Night Bitch? That book that you read about the woman who was eating meat?
Making that into a film.
They're making it. Yeah, I saw the trailer for it. It looks.
Yeah, me too. I was like, that is wild because that book is bonkers. I don't know what they're gonna do.
It's got Amy Adams in it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they might take some elements of it literally. Be interesting because it's all kind of like left to interpretation in the book, which obviously in film I feel like you can't really do.
I think she's very like actually turns into a dog in the movie. Yeah, like you see it.
Yeah, she must do because I don't know how they do it otherwise. Yeah, wow, okay.
Yeah, there is definitely a bit of a trend for that kind of thing, right? Like I'm thinking of Sayaka Murata, for example, as well, like Earthlings.
She's got a new book coming out, hasn't she?
Has she?
I think so.
Oh, so much to look forward to.
Let me check.
How wonderful. So yeah, I've just ordered the Ella Baxter. I mean, she's written heaps. Oh no, hang on, I might be thinking of someone else.
Life Ceremony? Oh, it's a short story collection.
Oh, boo. Oh, she's gone. Jenny just left the recording.
It's a
What?
very dramatic sound when people disappear, and it kind of reminds me. I don't know why that just brought back. Like it's a very round the twists
Oh yeah.
sound effect.
Yeah. Let's move on. Jenny's gone. She'll come back.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to anything, Belle?
No, I'm just happy to
Are you
be
looking forward to anything? Sorry.
here. No,
Is there anything good?
not really.
Is there anything good in your life?
I'm just happy to be here. I'm looking forward to. Oh, there she is.
Oops.
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to just being part of the pod and having a bit of accountability to keep my reading going as well. I like the fact that we're not doing too much prescribed reading. Because I think
that's
been my downfall.
It's hard, yeah, and I know I'm aware I've made you do quite a bit of prescribed reading in the past, which I apologise for.
I still feel like I've not recovered from praiseworthy. Just like that really threw me into a funk, and the fact that I couldn't really get through it. I've shelved it. Like I'll come back to it another time. I've properly put it away now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just keen. I think I need to. I often like not pick up a book because it feels a bit too heavy or serious, and I'm not quite in I don't have the brain space to give it the time that I think it probably deserves. So I need to just start picking up any book, which is I've got a stack of about 15 books on my bedside table at the moment, and I have 5 books on the go just because it depends on the mood of the day what I can get into. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have you on the pod. I think it's going to be super fun.
Thanks.
Yeah. What about you, Jen? What are you excited for?
I'm using the touchscreen on my laptop, which meant I just closed the entire Squadcast recording thing. So I'm trying to look at notes and not press the X. What am I excited for? Yeah, a bit more reading freedom this season, which is working quite well because I've kind of just picked up what I want to pick up over the last month, which has been really nice, month or two. I am also, in the notes I've written, I'm going to knit a scarf, and I'm quite excited to sit knitting while I listen to an audiobook, which makes you sound like a proper grandma. But I've done knitting before, but in my 20s, and I feel like I'm ready again now to sit and do some knitting while I listen to stuff.
Scarf is a nice thing to knit as well because it just keeps going.
You don't have
to think too much.
I'm going for a rainbow scarf, so I've ordered more wool than is necessary. Ben's going to tell me off when it arrives because he's like, where are you going to put it? In loads of different colours. I'm going to knit a rainbow scarf, and I could probably knit everybody on this podcast a rainbow scarf and my family a rainbow scarf. So put your orders in. And hopefully I'm going to listen to audiobooks. But it'd also be nice to watch TV and stuff while knitting, right? So I'm excited for that. I tried looking into new releases that were coming up, but there's not a huge amount.
Apart from
but as
Ella
we've been
Baxter,
talking, clearly I've remembered them as they came out. But Susannah Clarke's got a Christmas book coming out, a short story Christmas book. The Woodland at Midwinter, I think it's called. So I was like, oh, that's intriguing. And even though me and Sarah both didn't enjoy, what was that statue book? Piranesi?
Yes.
I still think about that book quite a lot. It annoys me that it lives in my brain rent-free, as the kids say. Yes, I'm like, this new one's about forest animals set at Christmas time. I'm like, that sounds up my street. So, yeah, I might give that one a go. But in terms of new releases, there's not much. Yeah, I'm definitely in my cozy reads era. That started at the end of August. That I was like, right, we're heading to autumn. I'm getting my cozy reading done. So yeah, we're going to do a cozy reads episode actually, which will be me and one of our patrons who is very into her cozy reads. So yeah, I'm excited for our plans and what we've got coming up.
There are some big hitters coming out in October. Tim Winton's coming out with a new book, I believe. Big Australian writer for anyone who doesn't know Tim Winton. Who else? Salman Rushdie's coming out.
Right?
Yes, I think so. Salman Rushdie's coming out with something new. Lee Bardugo as well, if anyone knows the Six of Crows, the Netflix season. She's coming out with a new adult novel. Leon Moriarty is also coming out with a new. And I feel like I also saw. Oh, there's Ella Baxter. Evie Wilde, who wrote All the Birds Singing and
yeah.
The Bass Rock. So they're coming out in the next couple of months, I think. So there's some big. Fiona McFarlane's also coming out with a new book. I read that book of hers that's about a nursing home that I can't remember what it's called, which I quite liked. She's won a couple of prizes. Yeah. So yeah, some stuff going. Nothing that I'm, apart from the Ella Baxter, nothing that I'm super excited about. But yeah, plenty of names out there. That's for sure. Yeah, I didn't know Sally Rooney, did I? Let me look that up.
Yeah, it's called Intermezzo, I think. I'm probably saying that wrong.
No, you're saying it right.
I think it's about chess. I mean...
Oh, yes, because I saw somebody talking about Queen's Gambit. So, yes, chess.
The cover, I think the American cover had a chessboard on it.
Well, that's thrilling.
Am I intrigued? I think so.
Oh, wonderful. I love her.
This is where we take a little break to tell you about all the different ways you can support the pod, most of which are totally free. We'll start with our Patreon. We've changed things up a little, making all our bonus content open to everyone, no matter what tier you're on. A more pay what you can kind of thing. Tiers start at just £2 a month, and joining our Patreon will give you access to all our chat on recent and current reads, DNFs, book prizes, what we're watching, and loads more. You can try our Patreon today. We highly encourage a binge listen to our back catalogue of bonus episodes, and take no offence if you choose to cancel afterwards. If you love receiving book mail and personalised recommendations, our top tier is still available. We get you to fill in a survey and then we tailor our book recommendations to your preferences. Find all the details in our show notes. Now for the free ways to support us that make a huge difference. A really effective and easy way of showing your support is by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. There is a link in the show notes that will take you straight to the Apple Podcast page where you can write a review. If you listen on Spotify, you can very easily give us a star rating. You can also share our posts on social media. We're at Bookcast Club on Instagram and TikTok. You can sign up to our newsletter on Substack, where we share even more book recommendations, our pick of the new releases, and all the latest podcast news. But the best way for us to find new listeners is by you telling your book club friends and family about us. However you choose to show your support, we as always want to say a huge thank you. We appreciate each and every one of our listeners. Are we going to talk current recent reads?
I'm happy to, because I've got very exciting news.
Oh, yeah.
I'm back. Could be anything. I'm back into reading, you guys, in a big way. I'm really pleased. Yeah, really big way, which is really cool. I've had a very slow 2 years, I want to say, at least. I've just not really been able to focus, not finding a lot of joy in reading, to be honest. Been really enjoying doing the pod. God, I'm so sorry. I'm aware I'm talking a lot. You guys have just done an episode, I haven't, so I'm just talking.
You're fine.
Yeah, it's been a very slow, especially the past 18 months have been very slow for me. Not getting a lot of joy out of reading, to be honest, and not really feeling like I wanted to read organically, if that makes sense. It's been a lot of prescribed reading. And I'm suddenly back into it in a way that I haven't been for quite a few years, actually, really thinking about it, probably since 2021.
Love it.
So I'm really excited. Yeah, I've been reading quite a lot of fantasy, and I've been reading a lot of books that I've been meaning to read for a long time. So I'm just looking around my room and all these books that I've got around here. I'm really thrilled. So that's been really fun. So that's also another reason why I'm excited about doing the pod again, because I feel really rejuvenated, which is fun. All that to say, I'm very happy to talk about what I've been recently reading. Shall I?
Yeah, please.
I've just read Motherhood by Sheila Heti, which I've been meaning to read for years and years and years. That's this one, Jen.
Oh,
it also used to be have this white cover with a purpley bit. This was going around probably 5 years ago, I want to say. When did it come out? Whenever it came out, this was really popular when it came out. So this is a non-fiction, kind of a memoir-y. 2018, right, about 5 years ago. This was really big when it came out. This is a non-fiction where Sheila Heti is reflecting on the choice to become a mother. She's saying mother, I'm going to say parent, but the choice to become a parent and how sort of a bizarre and weird choice that is. She's in her 30s, so she's sort of at that point where she has to kind of either commit to being a parent or not. And she is just really openly talking about that process. I actually read this because of Belle, really. Well, I sort of knew about it, but then Belle was the person who really was like, you really should read it. We had a really nice chat. Actually, when we were in Belgium, we were on holiday together about like parenthood and that sort of bizarre choice. Yeah. And so I finally come around to reading it. And it is really open. It's really honest. She talks about how she feels. There's a lot of stuff on page that I haven't seen before, which is like thoughts that I know I have had and like my friends have had about how your perception of your body changes, how things about that have happened to you. So for example, she talks about the experience of having a period and how you sort of feel one way about that when you're sort of 18 through to like 25. And then now she's like in her mid 30s and thinking about getting pregnant. Her period is like a source of anxiety where she's like counting it and she's sort of obsessed with it now. Whereas when she's sort of like 20, it's a completely different story. So she's talking about how your perception of these kinds of things changes so much. And she talks about her friends who have become parents and how that sort of changes their dynamic and the dynamic she has with her partner and how that might change. And she's just very on the fence. She sort of is really thinking about her relationship with her own parents, how that might affect her ability to be a parent, like how your relationship with your parents affects how you're a parent. And I just really loved it, to be honest. I took like photos of loads of patches and sent them to a couple of my different friends because it's just really it's really open and it's got a lot of stuff on page that I really hadn't seen before, to be honest. So it was very refreshing, I guess. Very much enjoyed it.
That sort of is maybe a good leeway onto what I've been reading at the moment. I've just finished a book called Splinters by Leslie Jamison. Leslie Jamison is an American author. I think this is her third book. And I actually haven't read any of her other books, but I've read some of the articles that she has written, I think, for The New Yorker. And she talks a lot about addiction. She talks a lot about having an eating disorder in her sort of youth. She is an alcoholic and is now in sober recovery. And so she writes a lot about that, or she did write a lot about that, during the period when she was deciding to become sober. And then more recently, she's been writing about becoming a mother, and Splinters is the memoir of the period of her life over 1 or 2 years where she's adapting to motherhood as a mum to a daughter who is about 12 months old when she leaves her husband. And so she's both sort of coming to terms with being a mother and what that looks like, and being a single parent and navigating co-parenting as well. And she also talks a lot about being just being a young woman and the community that you build around yourself as a mother, as an artist, as a writer, and the communities that play sort of a role in shaping the versions of ourselves, the versions of us that we want to be, or communities that we depend on. I don't know, it was beautiful. Anyway, it was really, really, really nice memoir, and I've dragged it out for I want to say 2 months maybe. I saw her speak at the Melbourne Writers' Festival, which is saying April or May, and I hadn't actually started reading the book at that stage, and she was amazing to watch. Just one of those writers that's an incredible speaker, and it was a really interesting conversation that they were having about her writing process and being a mother, amongst other things. She does a lot of writing about reflecting on growing up as a child of divorce as well, and the roles that her parents took in the divorce and sort of parenting of her. I think her parents split up maybe she was 10 or so a little bit later in her childhood, and just thinking about how this become the framework for her idea of parenthood and how she recognises sort of how it's moulding her into being a parent, that experience. And so they played very different roles in her life post-divorce. Her dad didn't have any custody, didn't fight for any custody at all, and travelled a lot for work. And so she solely lived with her mum. And her father became this sort of absent figure, and her interactions with him would be sort of a couple of nights that she remembers throughout her childhood that she spent at his apartment, or going out to dinner with him sort of, every 6 months or every year. And this sort of very strained relationship where she was constantly trying to impress him or entertain him at these sort of dinner catch-ups. So it's really, I don't know, it's really, really wonderful writing, and a very interesting part of her life for her to have captured. It sort of ends when her daughter is 2, and the pandemic hits New York. So it's got a little bit of that pandemic writing in there that I haven't read a lot of. I feel like I don't know if you're the same, it's sort of steer clear of that stuff. It feels a little bit too soon, even though it's been 4 years. And it's interesting. I think theoretically I'm interested to read about other people's experiences, but I'm also not. But she just writes really well about that experience, like isolating experience of being a parent to a young toddler, and then compounding that by global lockdown. Yeah, it's a really, really, really wonderful book. Would highly recommend it to anyone who enjoys memoirs, and I'm definitely intending to read her back catalogue as well.
That sounds really good. They both sound really good. It's interesting you saying that you feel like you can't read lockdown books just yet, because I'm still not quite there with books about motherhood or parenthood either, which is weird because obviously like my kids are 5 and 2 now, but I'm a bit like, I don't know if reading about other people's experiences, I feel like it would heighten anxieties that I already have about being a parent. Yeah, there's elements of parenting that I still find kind of terrifying. But that one, Splintered, that you were talking about, that sounds really interesting because I can relate to the background, her kind of background. So my parents divorced when I was about 9, and my dad was absent, as in like he went to live on the opposite side of the country, so I lived with my mum and I saw my dad, and it'd be very interesting to reflect on that, which I've never done. I don't feel, because you definitely end up putting people on a pedestal when that happens. Like my dad could do no wrong, we thought he was brilliant, and I have a friend now who is going through the same thing my mum went through. Dad's quite absent, although in quite a different way to my father, and hearing her struggles as the mum that's left with the children, like I just have never had to think about that until talking to her and wondering what my mum went through. So yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'd be keen to read that one.
It's quite interesting because it seems like I don't know, I can imagine how this would happen. So as soon as she becomes a single parent, she makes a choice to leave her marriage, and moves her and her daughter out. And as soon as she becomes a single parent, she becomes quite obsessed in the early days about the idea that it should just be her and her daughter, and because that was the way it was with her mother, and she really struggles to sort of adopt the term like our daughter rather than her. It's sort of suddenly her daughter becomes her daughter, and she was sort of almost at the start wishes that she could be with her all the time, and that she, didn't in a way didn't have a father who was interested in sharing custody. And sort of, she writes a lot about mourning, the absence of her little body in the apartment when twice a week she stays a night at her father's house, and tackling the guilt that accompanies the freedom of her childless nights, which I can imagine. It sort of made me think a lot about my mum in that sort of situation as well. We had more of a shared custody arrangement, but we were primarily with mum. But yeah, it's sort of interesting. And then she's sort of trying to be grateful and sort of warmed by the realization that her daughter will have a present father who's really interested in having a big role in her life, but also finding it hard that it can't just be her and her daughter all the time. So anyway, it's really well written, and I'm sure it's a experience that a lot a lot of mothers can relate to. But I can totally understand or appreciate that once you've had children, like I'm sure once I made the decision to have children, then I won't be as interested in reading about it. It's like you've already experienced it. You're already in it. You don't need to read about it.
Yeah. I'm sure there's also a bit of an element, and I feel this might be the effect that's certainly what I feel about the pandemic is I feel a bit saturated by the pandemic, because even though it was a little while ago, when it was happening, it was sort of all that anyone talked about and all you thought about, really. So I feel like I've sort of done enough thinking about the pandemic to last me quite some time. And I wonder if I know what you're saying about the anxieties as well, Jen, of course. So you don't want, you don't need.
I don't want to add to them. I don't want to read about something I haven't experienced and worry about that as well.
Yeah. But it's also it's something that you live, right? Like it's your reality. So to what extent do you actually want to seek that out especially maybe in fiction?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's sort of the life that you live 24/7.
Yeah. Shall I lower the tone or lighten the tone? Because I've just finished the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Have you seen this book?
I don't think so.
I feel like it was big on TikTok, right? If you Google it, it has this, well, quite frankly, god-awful cover, but it looks very cutesy, cozy. The author is called Laurie Gilmore, which cannot be her real name, because if you've seen Gilmore Girls, the main character in that is Lorelai Gilmore. So, she's obviously writing under a pseudonym. This is very big on the old social media. And
thousands of reviews.
Thousands. I think it was self-published originally. I might be doing her a disservice by saying that, but I think it was self-published originally. Yeah, it got picked up on TikTok. Everyone went wild for cozy, cutesy vibes, which I'm into. I love Gilmore Girls, so I was like, okay, I'll read a book like that. It's not all that cozy, I wouldn't say. The writing's not great. The sex scenes in it are fantastic. I was like, my God, this is spicy. Is this why everyone's into it? All these cozy vibes. It literally has a Spotify playlist that comes with it.
Oh my God.
Taylor Swift, cutesy, cozy, sounds wonderful. I was like, oh yeah, I want to be in this cafe. It sounds great. No, I want to read the sex scenes, because I have not. I don't read smut. We've talked about on this podcast. We've talked about the fact that when there are sex scenes in a book, I want them to be sexy. If you're going to do it properly. Don't half-ass it. Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Ignore the fact there's no plot. Ignore the fact that the writing isn't that great. Go in it for the sex scenes, because they were great. I will read her other books. Wild. Maybe is this my transition into smut? It might be.
Oh God,
it's all downhill from here.
Jesus, take the wheel. I'm reading the description. It genuinely I genuinely feel like I'm reading underneath a porn or something. It sounds ridiculous.
Well, maybe I'm too innocent. Maybe that's what it was.
Or I feel like I'm reading a an erotic story. It's crazy. He wants nothing to do with the irritatingly upbeat new girl, except that he finds himself inexplicably drawn to her.
Honestly, when I started reading it, I was like, is this just going to be a book about will they or won't they have sex? No, they have sex. And have it about halfway through, and it's more will they get together in the end kind of story whilst having sex.
The cover looks like a Babysitter's Club book.
Why would it have that cover? Am I just really naive? Or is this what smut books look like? I don't know. But anyway, she's got loads of books now. All the TikToks are people throwing the book down into cozy blanket, pumpkin, coffee. I was like, okay, cozy. Either they've not read it, or there's some kind of code in those videos that means it's smutty. I don't know.
I would love it. I'm not on TikTok, but I would love it so much, Belle, if we go on there now and we see those reels, or whatever they're called on TikTok, and they're full of BDSM code, and we're like,
yeah, they will be. That's what's happened. Please, I'll download some and send them to you and be like, please tell me if this is coded, because I had not got a clue that was coming.
That's so
there you go. Hot recommendation from me.
That's a ridiculous sort of name to pick for yourself, Laurie Gilmore. The books are called The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, The
Right.
Christmas Tree, and the last one is called, it's coming out in 2025, The Strawberry Patch Pancake House.
I'm going to read them all and I will report back.
You can do
That
that
is so
episode
crazy.
I will.
Good time to cross mention. I don't know. I'm just going to pull this episode back.
Uh-oh.
That we did a really good episode once, or you did a really good episode once, Jen, on the, speaking of the Gilmore Girls, the reading challenge that the Gilmore Girls.
Oh yeah, that is
have.
a good episode.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's kind of, well, it's kind of similar-ish vibes because it is like quite a very like cozy episode.
Yeah.
You talk about a lot of like autumn reading and stuff. We can put that in the show notes. I can't
Yeah.
remember who you did it with. We had a guest. It was really good.
Yeah, Christine from the Gilmore Girl Book Club. Her Instagram's great as well. But yeah, she's read a lot of them. Did we give cozy
Yeah, we'll put
vibes in
that
that
up.
episode? Maybe we did. We were talking about the virgin suicide, so I feel like that book is strangely cozy, I guess, in a weird way.
Yeah, I really liked that. I that's the feeling I got when I listened. I really like that episode. I'll put it in the show notes. It's a good one.
Yes. Cool.
Is that
Are we
it?
done? Are we done?
Yeah, I think so. I'm done.
First episode in the bag.
Yeah, lovely. All right, that's it. Yeah, listen to our episode on the Gilmore Girls Book Club. It's really good. That's kind of it. That's the stuff we're excited about. That's what I've been reading. That's what Jenny's been reading. That's what Belle's been reading. We've introduced ourselves. It's all in there. What a great episode.
Lovely.
Loved it. So welcome back, I guess, and goodbye all at once. In the meantime, if you want to follow us, all our stuff is in the show notes. If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, you can. If you want to follow us on social media, you can. We are at Bookcast Club on Instagram and TikTok, I believe, Jen. Yeah, hope you like the pod, and we will see you back here next week for an episode about the bee sting. Thanks for listening. Bye!